Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Today we're going to be looking at the MG Montego Turbo. Welcome back, and incidentally, if you are into car brochures, don't forget to subscribe because this will be the channel for you. So back to the subject of the day, the MG Montego Turbo. We've already featured the Austin Montego, a car launched on the 25th of April 1984, and that was quite a lengthy episode. I just didn't have time to include the Turbo, but if you are interested in that episode, I'll put a link at the end of this particular episode. So, like I say, April 84, the Austin Montego was launched. Also, we got the EFI MG Montego, but the Turbo, we had to wait a little bit longer. We actually had to wait till early April 1985 to get a glimpse of this vehicle. And for me, it was a very underrated car. After all, it was actually the fastest production MG produced so far when it was launched. So, you know, it was quite a car and it was quite reasonably priced, I think, considering the performance. But anyway, let's have a look at the brochure and see what we can see inside. So here we are with today's brochure. It's a UK brochure, of course. The MG Montego Turbo, the very striking turbo lettering. They really wanted to show that this was something different from the standard MG Montego. Lots of badging on it, lots of indications that it's a turbo and an MG badging. 80s, of course, was a time of really trying to show what you've got, I guess, and it was really in the face. It wasn't discreet graphics, was it, on this very, well, quite an ordinary saloon car really, but all this sports graphics and a very 80s hairstyle there. But as we opened the brochure up, you didn't just have to get it in that striking black. You could also get it in this nice metallic blue. Metallic blue was very much a car of the early 80s. But of course, still promoting it's an MG and it's a turbo. We're not seeing any Austin badges on this. It's really showing the MG badges. And yeah, to a certain extent, it's badge engineering. But if you've got that MG name, why not use it? On the other side, we've got some writing and a nice look at the interior. So we'll just zoom in on this text and just read a little bit of this information. So starts off with a nice little information about the MGs that was available at the time. So it says the MG marque has been renowned for its sports cars and sports saloons for more than 55 years. The current MG sports saloons are the modern embodiment of the famous heritage. The stylish MG Metro, the exciting MG Metro Turbo, the exhilarating MG Maestro EFI and the impressive MG Montego EFI are now joined by the fastest MG sports saloon ever produced, the MG Montego Turbo. The Executive Express offers, in the true MG tradition, an affordable combination of style, luxury and satisfying high-performance driving. The 2-litre turbocharged overhead camshaft engine develops a potent 150 brake horsepower at 5,100 RPM. The power is transmitted by a 5-speed close ratio gearbox to produce blistering acceleration 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds and are capable of achieving a maximum speed of 126 miles per hour. Truly impressive for a 2-litre saloon. And yeah, I agree there. I mean, there are impressive figures from that O series engine. The 5-speed close ratio gearbox would have been a Honda unit in this case. But like I say, certainly impressive performance, more than you would have expected on a saloon at the time for sure. It says equally impressive is the driving enthusiast is the engine's wide torque band, peaking at a massive 169 pounds-foot at 3,500 RPM In fourth gear, it can cover any 20 miles per hour increment between 40 and 80 miles per hour in well under 7 seconds. What you have to also realise at the time, turbos were being thrown on these cars. They had huge turbo lag, to be honest with you. But nevertheless, certainly a fast car. And it talks on a little bit more about that information and, you know, the great fuel economy that it also had. We also get this rather nice little graphic of the interior with this MG sports wheel, and this red stripe treatment continues on the inside of the cabin, along the doors and of course the seats as well. So really giving it that sort of sporty feel on the inside as well. It tells you the exterior of the MG Montego Turbo proclaims its performance potential with its deep front spoiler and a large boot lid spoiler, both of which assist in maintaining high speed stability by reducing front and rear end lift. So it's all those little sporting touches that you really wanted on your car, although in reality, day-to-day driving, it wouldn't have done anything, of course. And then it goes on to tell you some of the equipment you got on there. So it says you've got this supportive contoured seats, we've got this slide tilt steel sunroof, leather trim steering wheel, comprehensive instrumentations, etc, etc. And we'll look at the back page for a bit more of the specifications as well. And it also tells you we've got optional extras on there. We can have it in that black or clear coat metallic paint, headlamp wash and rear seat belts. That headlamp wash, something of the 80s as well. They get putting washers on the headlamps and wipers on the headlamps, a very 80s thing. And that really is all there is on this brochure, apart from the specifications page, which we'll certainly go through now. So first of all, it's talking about the engine. So it's a 4-cylinder transverse overhead cam, 1994cc, 150 brake horsepower. That 5-speed close ratio Honda all synchromesh gearbox. Suspension, front McPherson struts and coil springs. And the suspension would have been a bit of an upgrade from your MG EFI Montego for this particular model. And then it goes on to tell us about the brakes, the wheels, etc, which you can certainly have a look at yourself. The electricals, some of the more of the equipment you can actually have. It was a reasonably well equipped car. Don't forget, this would have been the top of the range Montego at the time. So as well as being a high performance car, it also needs to have the equipment to match as well, to gain sales, not just for its performance but for its level of equipment levels at the time. This isn't the 70s, the 80s we kind of like expected more of a car. So then talking about the in-car entertainment, the instrumentations and interior features. And it goes on to show some more of that equipment before telling us about them optional extras, the headlamp wash, the rear seat belts, the black or clear coat metallic paints. I kind of like today, we kind of like forget, but you know, rear seat belts weren't a legal requirement at this time in the UK, just optional extra before they became a full safety, and it was a legal requirement later on. And then it gives you a bit more information about that performance, dimensions, general information before telling us about the economy. So when we're looking at the economy, the constant 56 miles per hour, it's doing 43 miles per gallon. Obviously these are UK gallons, but even though it's a powerful car, it's still, if driven sensibly, a very economical car and a reasonably easy car to live with. And then finally we see the badging that were there at the time for Austin Rover. And if you're interested, it's publication 3710. Oh, and there's just one thing I've jumped back into it because it's one thing I did forget to mention, but this does amuse me. The top here, it says there's a discreet turbo decal on the bonnet. I don't think there's anything discreet about the turbo badging on this car whatsoever, but like I say, I guess this is the 80s. So that, of course, is quite an early brochure for the MG Montego Turbo. Prices, of course, grew over the years, and by about 1987 you had to pay just over £11,000 for one, which, to be fair, I don't think is really that unreasonable. It's quite competitively priced, really, when you consider it's a top of the range car and you were getting that really good performance. But certainly let me know what you think about the MG Montego Turbo in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It's all free. But for now, we'll say take care and goodbye.